Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel where we do talk all things true crime. If this is your first time here, hello, hi, and welcome. And if you're a returning Titan, welcome on back for yet another upload. If you guys appreciate today's case coverage, I hope you'll take a second to subscribe to the channel, like the video. It really helps my channel grow and it's free to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into today's case coverage. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case, Bryan Kohberger in particularly. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Bryan Kohberger's defense team has hired a DNA expert of their own to dispute the touch DNA that was found on the button of the knife sheath that was found underneath Madison Mogan, one of the victims' bodies. She claims to be an expert in genealogy, but she has a bachelor's in biology and a PhD in botany. And botany has to do with plants. So I'm not sure what that has to do with genetic DNA for humans. But if you guys know the answer to that question, let me know in the comment section below, because I've been researching how to become a genealogy expert. I wanted to read over an article with you guys that kind of explains what's going on with them the defense bringing in their own expert, what she's kind of saying, what she's saying to dispute everything. And then I'm going to follow it up with a video that's going to kind of show us everything in a nice little bow. This is for you guys that aren't able to make the live shows. I wanted to do a little video. That way you'll have all the documents as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here, and it is a little bit small, so I am sorry about that. I'll try to make it as big as I can for you guys. So it says, the lawyers representing Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger are now challenging the evidence investigators used, suggesting flaws in the reliability of the genetic genealogy which investigators used to arrest him. Investigators used genetic genealogy to link Kohberger to the crime by creating a DNA profile from a knife sheath found at the scene, which matched the profile of Kohberger's dad, eventually leading to his arrest. Recent court documents by Kohberger's defense, however, dispute the imperfect nature of the science used to identify him, now scrutinizing a pivotal piece of evidence that connects him to the quadruple homicide, suggesting the DNA link may not be trustworthy. This is a more aggressive challenge where they're saying, wait a minute, is this fruit of a poisoned apple or something? And how did you get this genealogical match? Do we know it's a good match? Said Dr. Greg Hamikin, a forensic biologist at Boise State University. Maybe you got tunnel vision early on in the case through bad genealogy. Defense attorneys submitted an affidavit on Wednesday from Dr. Leah Larkin, a DNA expert based in California, echoing concerns that the science behind genetic genealogy is not flawless. Larkin argues DNA profiles built at home test companies such as Ancestry DNA or 23andMe aren't constructed the same way as those specialized laboratories and are not as reliable. A poor quality kit may have too few matches, or it just might have phantom matches that are not real measures of relationship, the document states. Law enforcement is increasingly utilizing this technique to track suspects' relatives on Ancestry websites. And I am going to say here, they did use Ancestry websites in order to get Bryan Kohberger's dad's match to DNA, or the DNA was a relative, a son of the father of Michael Kohberger. So that would be Bryan Kohberger. Then they went ahead and then they did a direct match. So that direct match is still there. It's still there. It says here, law enforcement is increasingly utilizing this technique to track suspects' relatives on Ancestry websites. Uline police databases, these websites offer a broader array of relatives for investigation. Larkin noted an example where nearly 20 possible relationship lines were listed for a match and said that considered a close match. She also noted cases that she's aware of where genetic genealogy has been wrong in cases where databases were used improperly by authorities. Hamikin, who spearheaded the Idaho Innocence Project, emphasizes that DNA can unveil a lot, but not always the entire narrative. Our experience when we worked with police, the first hit they got through genealogy The guy they thought was a good suspect, he'd been in the area, he sounded like a good match. They went to test him because his father had it was a close match, and it turned out the suspect was wrong. The crucial question remains, will the defense claim impact Kohberger's plea of not guilty in the deaths of Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, Xander Canodal, and Kaylee Gonzalez? Kohberger is currently incarcerated, and if found guilty, could potentially face the death penalty. So I'm going to wrap this up with a short little video for you guys, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks, guys.
Team is claiming DNA evidence in the case is not reliable. Yeah, and the 28-year-old is charged in the murders of 4 Idaho college students late last year. Investigators linked Kohberger to the crime by genetic genealogy, building a DNA profile from a knife sheath left at the crime scene. But Kohberger's team says the science used to track him down is far from perfect. Kelsey Kernstein is here to break down the defense's argument. Kelsey?
Kelly, this is a new update this morning. Bryan Kohberger's attorneys are now questioning a crucial piece of evidence that links him to the case. They say the DNA tying him to the quadruple homicide is not reliable.
New court documents filed by Bryan Kohberger's defense team casting doubt on the use of genetic genealogy to build a case against him. Investigators used a technique to link the 28-year-old to the gruesome murders of the 4 Idaho college students last year. They were able to build a DNA profile from a knife sheath found at the crime scene. That DNA matched to Kohberger's father, ultimately leading to Bryan's arrest. Now his attorneys are questioning the evidence, arguing the method used to collect it could be flawed.
This is a more aggressive challenge where they're saying, wait a minute, is this fruit of a poisoned apple or something? How did you get this genealogical match? Do we know it's a good match? Maybe you got tunnel vision early on in the case through bad genealogy.
Defense attorneys filing an affidavit this week from a DNA expert out of California, echoing those concerns, saying the science is far from perfect. Genetic genealogy is increasingly being used by law enforcement to trace suspects' relatives on ancestry websites. Unlike police databases, they provide a much wider pool of relatives to sift through. Dr. Greg Hamakian, a forensic biologist at Boise State University, he spearheaded the Idaho Innocence Project, using his expertise to prove the innocence of those wrongly convicted. Hamakian says while DNA can reveal a lot, it doesn't always tell the full story.
Our experience, when we worked with the police, the first hit they got through genealogy, the guy they thought was a good suspect, he'd been in the area, he sounded like a good match. They went to test him because his father was a close match, and it turned out the suspect was wrong.
So now it raises a lot of questions. Is the defense argument, is it going to be enough to influence Kohberger's upcoming trial? We are going to be watching and following this. We know Kohberger pleaded not guilty in the killings of Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, Xander Canodal, and Kaylee Gonzalez. He does remain behind bars. If he is convicted, the 28-year-old could face the death penalty.
Okay, so let me know what you guys think about, everything that we just heard. Let me know what you guys think about the expert coming on to challenge the DNA evidence. Do you think that it's going to work? Do you think
is out live at the Iowa?
Do you guys think that the evidence is flawed in this case? I want to know all of your thoughts about everything that has to do with the new, DNA that's going on. And we will be doing a live tonight. Also on the Idaho 4, we're going to be going back to the beginning and starting from scratch. We are going to try to clear our minds of all of the chaos that we have, had that's gone on in the last 8-9 months of this case. And we're going to try to, rewind it a little bit. So without taking up any more of your guys' time, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all tonight on the live. Have a great day. Bye, guys.